I am here for another update. I know this is not at all the best lighting, but I wanted to do this update before I forgot. I ended up DNFing Vanishing World. I got 48%, and I just didn't care. The first half of that book, which is what I read, needed a better editor. It could have been halved. That book needed some serious trimming down. It was very repetitive, and the big thing about like getting to Paradise Eden, where they were doing all this different things in terms of raising children and artificial wombs so that men could be pregnant, had still not happened at the 48% mark, even though it's mentioned in the synopsis. So I DNF'd it. I started Pearl City. I got to 7% or 9% in that. Really good. Looking forward to reading more of that. A tooth mark challenge dropped at 5:31 a.m. Sunday to read a 500-page book. So we have 24 hours to complete that. I currently have 4 hours left in that challenge, and I chose a Mastery of Monsters. I'm currently on page 201. I do think it's possible, right? 400 pages. Maybe not. Maybe it is. I don't know. But I'm going to keep going until the wheels fall off. And this is one of my most anticipated releases of the year. It just came out on July 29th. Love Liz Sambray as an author. And I'm really enjoying this. It's dark academia. It takes place at a university in Canada. There's a secret society dealing with monsters and taming monsters and things like that. It's the first in a series, and I'm just loving it. I'm really thoroughly enjoying myself, and it's not a slog to read, which is great. I didn't expect it to be, but yeah, I'm glad I chose this one for the Tooth Mark Challenge. I think that's really it in terms of updates. This has been the only reading I've done today, which makes sense. But yesterday I read Love Craves Cardamom, and I got to 78% in that. So yeah, I'll be resuming that tomorrow or like later on in Monday. But yeah, that is the update. All right, hello. What is up? So I have some updates on some reading. I feel like I already gave the update about finishing a mastery of maybe I didn't. Honestly, I don't remember. I don't think I did. Damn, I don't really think I did. Okay, so our second Tooth Mark challenge was to read a book over 500 pages in 24 hours. That was like Sunday, right? Am I remembering this correctly? It was. Okay. I finished The Mastery of Monsters, gave it 5 stars, perfect book. I really feel like I talked about this already, but I cannot remember doing so. So I feel like that's false. But yeah, I'm excited to see where this series is going to go. And okay, so I haven't talked about it since I finished the book. That's what it is. Like I said, gave it 5 stars. Really, truly love it. I already put the book away on my shelf, but now I'm remembering I need to go back and like highlight and underline certain passages because it is a favorite book. And I loved what it was saying about humanity and what it means to be humanity, like the whole idea of monstrosity and monsters versus masters who are like the humans, if you will. And also it interrogating naturally occurring power imbalances within societies that say that they are accepting of all people and they're committed to diversity, but if you do not celebrate that diversity, then you run the risk of defaulting back to these power imbalances that are so ingrained in our society. And I thought it was just so smart to not only make it a fantasy book that has humans and monsters, but make it an urban fantasy, as in like it takes place very much in our world. So it is, because it takes place in our world, it is informed by, oh dear, oh a baby deer, so cute. It is informed by our society, right? And I just really loved it. I also love that it took place on a college campus. And okay, there goes all the light I had. It took place on a college campus. So it has that, like, it very much is dark academia. There's a secret society. It checked all my boxes and I absolutely loved it. So that was submitted. I did it. I'm very proud of myself because that book was 575 pages. Do you hear me? 575 pages in less than 24 hours, actually. Less than 24 hours. I did the damn thing with that. I really did. I'm very proud. And I woke up after I completed that. I told my partner, I was like, I feel like I can do anything now that I did that. Like, and I read it with my eyeballs because that's how I just like to read fantasy, young adult and adult fantasy. That's how I like to read it. Woo! I was locked in. And it was the perfect book for this challenge because one of my favorite authors anticipated release because it came out July 29th. And it was a dark academia YA fantasy. Like, it really just, like, it had me hooked. So now I'm trying to think I finished some books yesterday. I finished 2 books. Oh, I finished A Mastery of Monsters. No, well, duh, I just said that. I finished Where There Be Monsters, which is a middle grade fantasy that does it come out in September? Maybe, but it has a magical school. It takes place in something called like the outer world or the outer sphere, and it has like a little bit of a science fiction element to it because it's like an alternate dimension from Earth. Like, Earth is mentioned, and it's another one where there are monsters who live alongside human beings in society, and I really like that. If you've read, what is it called? Brighthaven, by M.L. Wang. Oh man, what's it called? Under Brighthaven. I'll put the cover. But it reminded me a lot of that in terms of how the magic worked, which I really liked. I ended up giving that one 4 stars. And then I finished, Love Craves Cardamom. And I gave that one 4 stars as well. That was a YA contemporary. I'm excited to read the other book in that series because it's like a interconnected standalone. This is cool because it seems like it's going to be 3 books, but each book is written by a different author and it follows a different best friend in this like group. And I think it's so cool when authors come together to create these like interconnected worlds. And so I have the first book. I was sent the first book. I need to go and read it because I didn't realize that it was a YA romance. And I find that I just enjoy listening to those. And so I think I already took it out on Libby, so I need to like just circle back around to that one. But yeah, I started Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man. I don't know where I'm at in it because I've been listening to it as I drive. I'm probably maybe 50% of the way through. And it's absolutely hilarious, heartfelt, and like I said, Jesse Q. Sutanto does not miss at all. This is looking like it's going to be at least a 4.5 stars, if not a 5-star. And I also started The Edge of Water yesterday by Grace. I'm forgetting the rest of this author's name. But yeah, and that one seems to be pretty interesting too. It also reads really quickly. I think I'm at like 23% in that one, and I got to that unexpectedly. But yeah, that is where we are at in terms of progress. I'll probably end up finishing Vera Wong. I do want to circle back to Lotus Empire. It's been a few days since I read it because I was distracted by the Toothmark Challenge. And yeah, I mean, that is my update. We're making, it did. We're making popcorn, kind of, but also cookies, kind of.
I eat cookies. I eat cookies.
You ate the cookies.
I had 2 cookies.
I'm not gonna do it. So since we last talked, I hung out with my besties. That's the footage that you saw in the airport. I headed to Nashville, as you can probably see by the background. But I wanted to give some updates on what I finished and like just how I did this week. It was a bit of a longer week because of Face the Kraken weekend. So I'm no longer circling Anchored Souls. I'm not their assigned shark bite anymore. I've moved on to Coral Crowns, but we'll talk about that in next week's vlog. So I finished Vera Wong's Guide to Sleeping on a Dead Man. Absolutely hilarious and moving, and it touches on found family, much like the first book did, and as well as just like the theme of loneliness and how you can be surrounded by people and think you have a full life but still be very lonely. I'm definitely excited for the next one, and I gave it 5 stars. I also finished The Edge of Water, which turned out to be a really complex story about 3 generations of Nigerian and Nigerian American women, with intriguing interludes from like the deities that are looking over them. It's a novel that looks at the strenuous and loving relationship between mothers and daughters, and it also looks at the shifting dynamics between women of different generations as they learn to shake off societal expectations. And I ended up giving that one 3.5 stars. Then there's The Deadly Fates by Danielle Clayton, which I don't think I talked about starting, but yeah, that is the 3rd book in the Controverse series, which is a middle grade fantasy series. It's an incredible continuation of Ella's journey, just navigating an unjust world and an unjust system, especially in education, and focuses on truth and justice and revolution, as well as the fallout that happens when a society built on lies and subjugation has to reckon with this truth and people demand reparations. There's so many parallels to our society and the experience of Black Americans, and there's lots of twists and shocking reveals that I did not see. I ended up giving The Deadly Fates 4.5 stars. I also finally finished The Lotus Empire. I finished it last night before I fell asleep. Gorgeous romantic writing. I love the romance plot and how it was handled, beautifully balanced with all of like the high fantasy and political intrigue. There's a nice balance of the several supporting characters that we get, some who are we've heard from before and some who are new. Stunning magic. It's clear and beautiful, but also like frightening at some times. This is another book that looks at the human condition and what it means to be human and live within that experience fully and authentically. Excellent conclusion to a beautiful trilogy. I definitely see myself returning to reread this series, and I ended up giving The Lotus Empire 4.5 stars. During the first week of Arc August, which I'm counting as August 1st through 10th because I'm including Kraken week, Face the Kraken weekend. So that was like the entire time that I spent circling Anchored Souls, plus those 3 days that we were not attacking any team. I finished A Mastery of Monsters, Love Craves Cardamom, Where There Be Monsters, Vera Wong's Guide to Sleeping on a Dead Man, The Edge of Water, The Deadly Fates, The Lotus Empire, as well as 2 novellas for my SFF novella project. And that's 9 finished books with 2 DNFs. So we did pretty good. I'm excited to head into this next week and antagonize Coral Crown in the Discord like I did with Anchored Souls. I'm really enjoying being the villain. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out all my other videos, as well as my reading sprints and my new baby launch Etsy and my bonfire. And I will see you in another video. Bye.
Showing. I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man. I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo. Got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Plus I'm copywriting, so it's all mine. Check it for me.